If you're thinking about becoming a client account manager in an agency or in marketing or anywhere in the world, you've probably tried to picture what the day actually looks like. And I bet what you've pictured is a little bit off. It's not glamorous client lunches. It's also not just sitting on calls all day taking notes. It's its own specific rhythm, and either it's going to feel like the perfect fit for your brain or it's going to feel like torture. There isn't much in between. So today, I want to walk you through what a real day in this role actually looks like, hour by hour in 2026, so that you can feel if it's a right fit for you before you commit. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in. Chat cam life and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
E2M is a proud sponsor of the Happy Clients Podcast. If you're running a digital agency, you know the hardest part isn't getting clients. It's delivering consistently without burning out your team or hurting margins. E2M helps agencies scale confidently as a behind-the-scenes, white-label fulfillment partner. From web development and SEO to paid media, US-based content, e-commerce, and even AI, they plug into your agency so your clients get great results under your brand. No freelancers, no chaos, just reliable delivery that helps you keep clients happy and growing. Find out how E2M can support your agency at e2msolutions.com/dot. Welcome. If we haven't met yet, we at Dot & Company, we train, we hire, and we place client account managers into digital marketing agencies. It is the entire thing we do, and I've watched a lot of people go through the version of this role you're thinking about right now. And the most common message I get is some version of, hey, this looks interesting, but I genuinely don't know what the work feels like. Is it for me? Will I be good at it? And will I survive? So today, this one is for you. I'm going to walk you through what a real day, a morning, midday, afternoon, end of day, what the vibe of the job really looks like, and the type of brain that this role really rewards, and honestly, the honest, sometimes uncomfortable truth about what makes it hard so that you can go into it with eyes wide open. If by the end of this episode, you're going, oh, that sounds amazing, you probably belong in this role. And if you're going, hard pass, that's a great answer too, because it's better to know now than in 3 months from now. So let's start the day. The morning, between 8 and 10:30 in the morning, give or take, most client account managers start their day before they open Slack. That alone tells you something about this role. The first 30 minutes are kind of quiet. You're reviewing your priorities for the day. You're looking at what didn't finish yesterday, and you're glancing at your project tool to see if anything's gone red overnight, scanning the calendars, and you're just making sure that you're setting yourself up for the day and not letting the day set you. A lot of client account managers in 2026 are doing this with help. So pulling yesterday's call notes into ChatGPT or Claude to get a summary. They're skimming the AI digest of overnight Slack threads and reading the auto-generated weekly status from Asana or ClickUp. The tools have gotten really good, and the morning prep that used to take an hour now might take 10, 15 minutes if you're organized and you're leveraging AI. Then around 9, you open the floodgates. So you open Inbox, you open Slack, whatever channels your clients live in, and you start triaging. Triaging is kind of this core skill of the role, and it's something that nobody really tells you about. It's this constant fast-paced work of looking at what's incoming and asking, does this need me right now? Or does this need me later? Does this need me at all? Or should it be someone else? And then making that call within seconds. And you do this hundreds of times a day. So by 10:30 on a good day, your inbox, you're sorted, you're organized, your team has whatever they need to start their morning, and your clients have answers to anything that came in overnight. The shape of the day is set by 10:30 in the morning, give or take. Then between morning to lunch, maybe 10:30 to 12:30, things start to pick up. The pace is coming. So that late morning is usually meeting territory. So client calls, internal kickoffs, strategy sessions, the one-on-one with your founder. The thing about meetings when you're a client account manager is that you're almost never the one who needs to talk the most. You're the one who needs to listen the hardest. You're reading the room, you're catching the throwaway comment from the client that might be a brewing concern, and you're noticing when your designer is overwhelmed and isn't saying anything. If you love listening to what's under the words, this part of your day is going to feel like the most natural thing in the world. And if you don't, if you're someone who finds back-to-back calls draining and you want to be left alone to do focused work, that's a real signal worth paying attention to here. And the reason is half of our job as client account managers is on calls. Now, the good news for 2026 is that most calls have an AI note taker. You probably see it all the time. They're there taking notes for you. And you're not scribbling in a notebook trying to keep up and then hash out those notes after. You're present, you're listening, you're contributing to what really matters in these conversations. And that is quality of life upgrade. I truly believe that using these tools for things like taking notes and recapping notes is going to save our role as client account managers because we're not filling our day with mundane tasks and admin. So right before lunch, you're usually sending recaps. You're doing quick notes from each call, maybe pulling it from AI, pulling out those action items, deciding who's owning each action item and the deadlines, and drafting kind of that first version and making sure that you're closing the loop on the morning before you eat your lunch. So let's talk about the afternoon. So maybe between 1 and 4. Afternoons are usually where the actual project work lives. And by project work, I do not mean that you're designing or writing or coding. I mean, you're the one running the projects. So imagine a control tower at an airport. That is what your afternoon looks like. You're generally moving between accounts. 5 minutes on this one, 20 on that one, deep hour on this messy project that just onboarded. And you're reviewing work before it ever goes to the client, making sure that it's polished and on brief and there's no weird typos happening. And you're the one who's unblocking the specialists who are stuck waiting on something. You're generally that person who makes sure that everyone else can do their job. You're responding to client feedback as it comes in. You're flagging the project that's starting to slip and getting ahead of it before it becomes a problem. The pace of this, I want to be honest with you, it can be relentless. It's not necessarily stressful, but it's constant. You're switching contexts a lot and you're holding a lot in your head and making sure that you are not becoming a bottleneck. And here's the question that decides whether this role is for you. How do you feel about constant context switching? Some brains love this, the variety, the momentum, little dopamine hit every once in a while, but other brains don't like it. They want to go deep, they want to stay in flow, they want to work on one thing for 3 hours straight. If the second person is you, this role probably is going to feel exhausting in a way that you can't outsmart it. So knowing yourself on this question is the single most important thing before you take a job as a client account manager. So let's talk about the end of the day, the 4 till 5 or 6 o'clock. The end of day as a client account manager is kind of this cool rhythm where once you learn it, it's kind of soothing. Around 4, you start closing these loops. You go back to your inbox, you clear out anything that you left there. You're sending last reports to clients or status updates and that daily recap, the daily pulse, and just making sure that everything is organized and that nobody on your team is going to get stuck overnight waiting on something for you. And then this part is kind of sacred and it really sets you up for the next day. So those last, 5-10 minutes, you're looking ahead. You're looking at tomorrow's calendar, what's due, what's open, what are you waiting on? And you're kind of making that short list so that when you sit down tomorrow morning, you don't have to remember everything that's happened. You've already written it all down. And great client account managers do this every single day. It's why they look calm. It's not that they have less work than anyone else. It's that the yesterday self already did the thinking for today's self. And then when you log off, you genuinely log off, because if you can't log off in this role, it will eat you alive. I've let that happen before, and you want to make sure that you're actually signing off at the end of the day. So let me talk a little bit about the honest truth about this job, because if I wasn't being honest, then why are we even here? First, some days are not like what I just described. Some days a client is upset and you spend 3 hours on damage control, or sometimes a project goes sideways and your whole afternoon disappears into fixing it. And maybe you're on back-to-back calls until 5 and you didn't eat your lunch and your inbox is on fire, and then you're finally logging out at like 7 p.m. That's the job too. Sometimes that happens. And it can be an emotional labor of love because you're absorbing client stress and so that your team doesn't have to. You're translating all these frustrated feelings from your clients into action for your team, and you're holding the tone when someone else has lost theirs, if I'm honest, and that doesn't show up on your calendar. And at the end of the day, anyone who tells you this job isn't emotionally taxing has not done this job. So I want to be perfectly honest with you there. And lastly, sometimes there is a lack of boundary between work and life, and it can test you. It can test you to make sure that you're really staying true to the goals that you've set for yourself. And clients will be emailing you at night, and Slack will be buzzing on a Saturday, and somebody's urgent message is going to come in at 9 p.m. And the ones who are successful in this career at client account management for a long time realize that not every fire is your fire to put out. And most things can wait till the morning. So you need to train your nervous system, your habits, to make sure that you're not allowing those things to burn you out. And I'm telling you this not to scare you. I'm telling you this so that you walk in with a clear eye of what this role really looks like, so that you're surviving long-term and that you're thriving in this role. So let's do a quick gut check. Is this your next move or not? Because this role is probably for you if you genuinely like people, you're a strong writer, you're organized in a low-key way without being too rigid, and you can hold 5 things in your head at once without getting flustered. You probably love other people's work and allowing their work to shine, and you don't need to be the one in the spotlight. If this role is not for you, you probably are someone who needs to take long breaks or long periods of focused time to feel productive, and you find small talk and relationship maintenance draining, and you probably struggle between switching contexts frequently. That's probably a sign that this is not the right fit for you. Here's the thing. The client account managers that I've seen who build genuinely incredible jobs in this field are those who have one trait in common. They like the people part. Even on the hard days, they look forward to those calls. They get a thrill from a client saying, "Working with you has been a pleasure." And so if that is something that could light you up, then you're probably built for this. If you're considering this path of being a client account manager, whether it's in an agency or in marketing or maybe here at Dot & Company, I love that for you. I love this career more than anyone in the whole world. And it's a great career. It pays well. The skills you build are super transferable. And you get to just keep learning every single day. So hopefully this helped you if you're thinking about becoming a client account manager or you're just curious about what our days look like. I can't wait to keep filling you in on what it's like working in our field as client account managers. So make sure you stay tuned, leave us a comment, DM us if you have questions, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Cheers to happy clients.